Hello, I'm Jennifer. Me and Amanda run Fiction Addictions, and one of the things that we love to do or try to do more of is review books, and we call them ARC reviews. ARC is Advanced Reader Copy. Today, I will be talking about The Blue Hour by Paula Hawkins. Thank you, first of all, to Mariner Books. It's a division of HarperCollins. I am very much appreciative anytime we can get any advance copies because we do enjoy getting them and reading them and reviewing them for you here. And this one actually had an autograph inside. It was a very pleasant surprise. I didn't expect this, and we both got a copy of this. Amanda still plans on reading this as well. She and I were talking about it over text because I decided I really wanted to read it. Though she didn't have a chance to read it at the same time as me, I know she's going to read it as well because I told her it was really good. I'm going to let you guys know just how much I loved it as well. A lot of readers might know Paula Hawkins for A Girl on the Train. It came out in 2015. I did read that one, and it was one of those books I remember reading in like 2 days. I ate it up, very fast paced. It was plot twists, but one of the main things that kind of bothered me about it, I mean, I did give it 4 stars. I didn't fault it in the end, but if you watch our channel, you know that I particularly am not a big fan of unreliable narrators. They are just sometimes in a story, it can really just irk me and make me not want to read the story. Sometimes it really works in how I feel it fits into the story. Girl on the Train, though I was irritated for some chunks of that book, the way that book ended, I absolutely loved. That actually saved it for me. Even though I was irritated with the unreliable narrator, she just was constantly drinking and out of it. You couldn't really rely on her perspective in that story. This one is a little different in terms of narrative and perspective, and I was very glad that I had read before I started reading the actual book. I saw a review that said it was a slow burn, and I was happy to know that going in because I would have thought it was as quick as Girl on the Train. I would have been anticipating a very fast-paced, plot-driven, twisty book, but that's not what this is at all. It is a slow burn. And I feel sometimes slow burns work with me. Sometimes I don't have the patience for it. I usually don't have the patience for it if I don't know it's happening. So that's why I said I was glad I went into this knowing that. This book is about several different characters. You see it mostly from the perspective of Becker, who is helping to curate art because there was a famous artist that has passed away. Her name was Vanessa. He's been trying to get more of the pieces from this remote Scottish Isle home that she had lived on. And it was where she made a lot of her masterpieces. But something happens in the beginning. She didn't just do paintings. She also did sculptures, and she did things with, I think they call them like found pieces, and like she put them together in a certain way. She had a particular art piece that it was sealed in a box with things that she had found, and it was called Division 2. It was on display, and a question comes up because there is a piece of bone, I think particularly a piece of rib that was in this box, and a doctor happens to see it at this museum, at this art exhibition, and he said, I think that's a human bone, a human rib. Police are kind of getting involved. They have to investigate, okay, what is that? And just to make sure, that is in the background of the story that ends up unfolding. So Becker goes to this house to talk to who you think is the caretaker that had been with Vanessa. She isn't related to her. And then you kind of get drawn into Grace's perspective. Her name is Grace. She was a friend, and she also helped take care of Vanessa towards the end of Vanessa's life. And that becomes the meat of the story. That's where the slow burn ends up coming up because you are pretty much getting the backstory of Vanessa and what happened on this island, you find out that years prior, before Vanessa obviously had passed away, her husband, Julian, had come to talk to her, and then he went missing, and no one knows what happened. So the subject kind of comes up of, is that bone going to be revealed to be from Julian? Did Vanessa kill him, or what happened that this bone might be in there? So in the background, they're testing that. You don't really know what's going to happen. That's where the thriller / mystery comes in, where you feel the tension kind of building as to what happened on this island. Becker is trying to find out both from Grace and what he's finding out with how they're investigating the art piece with the bone in it. And you get more and more information as to not just happened with Vanessa and Julian, but you get really a huge backstory with Grace and how she intertwines through all of it. I would say that's the extent of what I can say of the plot without revealing anything that would ruin the story. I very much love how she writes. I thought the way she did the characters, I didn't ever feel like it was too much, because you do get some sub-characters in there as well. But there is a backstory with Becker and his wife, Helena, and there's a ex of hers named Sebastian, and there's almost like a romantic triangle going on there as well. But that one is very, very sub-story. The main story is Vanessa, Grace, Julian, and Becker is kind of unveiling all of what was happening, just to see, okay, how does all of this tie to what is being investigated in her art piece? I would say the biggest draw through this story and why I enjoyed it so much is definitely the way the narrative is written and how she writes these characters. I felt like it was very well done. I loved the pace of the book. I didn't feel like it was very twisty or fast-paced. It very much was a slow burn, like I said, but you still ended up getting some twists in there, and you find out some things along the way. I wouldn't even say it's just at the end, but it does climax in a very, I would say, shocking way. You find out some surprising things at the end, and I felt like it did a very good ending as well. Endings for me always end up making me really love the book or not liking the book at all. How a book ends very much tells me how much I'm going to love this book or not, or if I'm going to think it was all like a waste of my time. But I really enjoyed how she brought everything together at the end, and it made me really love this book. I would definitely recommend it. I think if you know going into it, it's a slow burn, I think it might help. I don't know. There are a lot of readers that feel different ways about things like that. There are people that absolutely hate slow burns, so you may not want to try it. But I really feel this book was worth it. I don't feel like it was that long either. It's just over 300 pages, so it's not like it's going on and on and on. And there were some things sprinkled in there to help propel the story along the way, so you don't feel like you're just getting a bunch of information waiting for something to happen. There are things that are happening, and it's kind of building to what you end up finding out at the end. This will be released on October 29th. I very highly suggest you put it on your TBR. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you like mysteries and like a slower burn of a book, I think this one will definitely be for you. It was even giving me kind of like Hitchcock vibes, and I kept thinking that along the way, and I kept thinking, why am I getting the kind of like Hitchcock vibes? And I think it was just because it was this buildup of suspense and the way the characters were interacting, and then when you end up finding out all the information, it very much made me feel like it was like a Hitchcock film. Thanks for watching my ARC review of The Blue Hour, and until next time.